So I took a bus an hour and a half south of Kanazawa to the village of Shirakawa-go. This is kind of an intact village that was established a couple hundred years ago. And the benefit is these old houses that are really designed to trap heat and maintain a family for the long winter. And they're noted for their pitched roofs. And one is right over there. Although I really haven't even, I just got off the bus a few minutes ago and I really haven't scratched the surface of this place. But one of my main goal will be to get up there to that observation platform so I can get some pictures of the entire village. This was a priority for me on this trip. You know, I wanted to come out. My first trip in Japan, I did kind of all the big cities and the main route, and I'm going to be visiting a lot of those big cities again this time. But the main thing I wanted to do was get out into rural Japan and see parts of the country that aren't so easy to navigate via public transportation. Parts of the country that are more remote. And that while there's a ton of tourists here, the vast majority of people who come and do the Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto route won't ever make it out here, because even getting to Kanazawa, it's it's on the opposite side of the island from Tokyo, and it's almost a 3-hour ride by Shinkansen. So it's not the easiest place to get to. But I'm going to do some exploring, and hopefully I'm going to bring you up to the top, and we're going to kind of capture a whole bunch of good images of this stunning place. The most beautiful images, like this is pretty ideal. Like I guess I was unfamiliar with the seasons of Japan, so I booked my trip in early October expecting some of the leaves to start changing, but the leaves in Japan don't start changing till mid to late November. So whoops. But this is still like high green summer season. But the most stunning photos come from wintertime, when everything is covered in snow. Not sure if I'm willing to come out here when there's a couple feet of snow on the ground, but I might have to put it on the list for a future trip. So, I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a large iron pot there that's being boiled inside of the house, and it's there's a lot of smoke, but the design of the house allows that smoke to ventilate. And this tea here was boiled in the pot using wild grass. So we'll try it. It's actually very sweet, and yeah. So this is they just picked wild grass and boiled tea, which is kind of amazing. Okay, so here's the fire boiling the tea, and it's being ventilated somehow in the gasso. Hope I'm saying that right and not being disrespectful, but I'm bad with Japanese. Gasso. It's just like everything is well crafted. So we're in the second story of the gasso. I mean, there's electricity and stuff in here, but you can actually see the straw that the roof is made out of, and there's spider webs. That's scary. This is kind of like an intermediate step. And we're gonna go one more. I don't know how I'm gonna get down from here. Okay. So this is the second floor. And these windows just open onto the roof, which is really cool. There's a nice breeze coming in. There's warnings everywhere about how high the ceiling is, but you know, I'm clearing it with no problem. And looks like these are all like the handmade stuff. Ooh, they have slippers. So let me put on the slippers. I don't know if I have to, but I will, because I'm nervous about doing something wrong. Those thatch roofs were re-thatched every 20 to 30 years. Work to renew or repair a thatched roof is conducted in cooperation with people in the community. And then these are the tools they use to repair the thatched roofs. And here's the other side. And here we go. This opens up onto the village. It's just like, it's like spectacular. And like all these like scary looking tools that they used. I'm going to see if I can go up to the third floor, but I'm not 100% certain you're allowed up there. And frankly, I don't know how I'm going to get down these steps. I'm going to have to go backwards. Let's see if I can get up to the third floor. Okay, let's... Oh my god, this is like a torture chamber. It's like a torture chamber up here. Okay, so let's see. So we have look at these, all of these tools here were used to spin the thatch and to make the roofs. And I can feel, okay, me walking is making whatever these are like move, and it's making me really nervous. I'm probably heavier than the average Japanese tourist, so yeah, definitely a device meant for torture. So this is where we just were, up there on the second and third floors there, looking out. And actually, the face of the houses are like have a lot more character than the sides. And I think like people associate the thatched roof and the side, like that's the image I always saw. But the character is in this triangle shape. Like it's. When I saw it, I just said, wow, you know, I don't expect it to go up that high. But the structures are actually pretty big. I struggled a little more than I care to admit getting up that hill, but man, the view from up here is definitely worth it. So you can see the whole village from this vantage point. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's like something out of a different time. It's like something out of a video game. It's like I'm visiting a small village in Final Fantasy right now. But I'm not. It's real. It's right in front of me. And Yeah, it's like something ripped out of a fantasy. It's hard to believe that there's things like this are still allowed to exist in a country as modern as Japan. Okay, so I'm on my way down from the overview that looked over all of Shirakawa-go, and man, that view is addictive. But I'm going down now. I only walked into one of the museums, which you saw, so I'm going to try to hit as many of the museums as possible and really soak in what this place is about and how they maintain the gaso and I came all the way out here. I want to get as much out of it as possible before I head back to the city, which unfortunately I have a fixed time, so I have to leave at 3:55. But I have a good 2.5 hours left, so that should be plenty of time to really see everything, and might be starting to get sick of it by the end, but I doubt it. Okay, so I want to just show off a few more of these cool carvings. Like this one is really awesome. And this big one right here. And this is actually carved from Japanese horse chestnut, and the wood is over 1,000 years old. Kind of just like insane piece, which I think I know what this is. I think this is I forget the story, but it's the princess and the dragon pearl. I forget the name of the story, but it is a Japanese folktale. So we had a sudden downpour here, which you can tell that I'm kind of soaked. But I had a nice coffee at one of the gaso that was turned into a coffee shop. That was very pleasant, and honestly, the rain has kind of made the gaso even more beautiful. So this one in front of me, you can see, it's actually got like a nice color to it now. And up in the mountains, you can see like the low-lying clouds and fog are starting to kind of drift over, and kind of is making the whole area look more picturesque. You can see the mountains in the distance there, with the fog starting to kind of conceal them. So unfortunate that it had to rain, but it actually has enhanced everything just a little bit. So let's take a final walk through here. The scary thing is this street is just active, so people don't seem to slow down either when they're driving through here. I guess because they got to get work done. My bus, I still have like a half hour before my bus, but I've seen everything at this point. The last museum, well, I saw the temple, which I think I took a couple clips there, but it was a pretty standard, the shrine. I saw the shrine, and then I went into the temple, which it was interesting because it was a very bare bones temple, considering this is just a small mountain village. So that was interesting, but I didn't want to take out my camera in there and film anything because they had this warning before you enter the temple structure. It said, "Beware of hornet," with a picture of a hornet. Now I don't know what type of hornet it was, but immediately my mind went to the giant Asian hornet, which my decision to make this trip more rural or at least have several rural components. That was like my greatest fear. So did not see the giant hornet though. I don't know if he was even still in there. It may have been gone by now. You know, they're just being careful, but did not make me feel great. Kind of terrified. Luckily I was in there with a couple other people, so if I did have to panic and scream like a girl, at least that there would be someone there with me to panic with me, or to maybe defend me, or I could throw a small child in front of the angry bee, and that would have been cowardly. But hey, I would have survived, which is the important thing. So definitely, you know, I think you can stay overnight here in one of the gasso, and I think like if you're here as a couple or as a small group, that might be something that you'd want to do. There's really not that many restaurants in town, so I think they provide food for you when you stay at one of the guest houses. But I've been here. I was here for 5 hours, and that was more than enough time to see really everything fairly thoroughly. Probably next, if I ever do come back, I probably will plan 3, just to because I think that's really all you need. I think the best part is seeing the whole village from the overlook. I mean, the houses themselves are fascinating. It's really great that the government has now stepped in and is preserving them, and the fact that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site is keeping them going and giving this whole place new life as a tourist destination. Like, that is amazing. But I think the important thing of all that is that the beauty of the place is maintained. So yeah, you have souvenir stands, and you have coffee shops and restaurants and ryokans and guest houses here, in what used to be a place where people like lived a very humble life. But part of the whole deal is that the people who move into these places and use them as museums or coffee shops, they need to maintain the beauty of the town, and I think they're definitely being successful, and hopefully they'll continue to maintain it for years to come, because the more places like this disappear in the world, the poorer we are overall.